Welcome to Wilderness to Table, and today's episode is all about red stag. Not only do I go hunting for my first red stag, but I'm going to show you the most amazing burger you have ever seen. I am going to serve you a burger on a brioche bun, a red stag patty, top it off with my famous bacon jam and a little bit of brie cheese, and you have an elevated burger like you've never seen before. My name is Brie Van Scotter. I'm a professionally trained chef, author, and hunter. My mission is to create some of the most amazing wild game recipes with meat I gather on my hunting and fishing adventures. This is Wilderness to Table. The ranch we're hunting on here in Florida has an abundance of game from all over the world, from axis deer, wild boar, and now even red stag. It's a property set up for diverse hunts. With all the variety of food that I wanted to cook in this series, it seemed like a logical place to gather my game. So this morning, I was greeted by my guide Taylor bright and early. I think we were both really excited for this hunt because we're going after red stag. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning.
I'm all ready for this big day today.
Yeah, I can't wait to get out there.
Okay, y'all. I know I don't look excited, but I promise I was ready to go. Today, my guide is Taylor, who is one of the younger guides from the ranch property. However, I learned quickly that he was on top of his game. So Taylor, you're gonna put me on a younger stag today, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's the key.
Right, because you know my main concern is how it is on my plate, right?
Yes, ma'am. The one that we're gonna go after, he's a good buck. He's a younger buck, so that's the one that we're gonna be going after this morning. Hoping we'd be able to see him. It's a little foggy this morning out here, but I've got a good feeling they're going to be out here in the pasture first thing this morning. Of the different game we were hunting on this ranch, the stag had me the most curious. However, the fog was pretty set in, which had me worried about our chances. We managed to see one stag kind of early, and then he was definitely out of our range, but the big battle this morning was the fog, so I was getting a little nervous. I wasn't sure if we could make it happen today because of the fog. So what are you going to do as far as preparing him? What are you wanting to do as far as making your red stag?
You know, we're here at Hunt Camp and I'm really craving a burger, so I think I'm going to bring y'all an elevated, refined burger like you've never had with a red stag.
That sounds good. I can't wait to try that.
Because they don't have a lot of fat in them, naturally, as I'm sure you know. So I'd like to incorporate more fat. And I think we could all just use a burger right now.
A burger sounds pretty good.
We've been hunting for a while. So, a red stag. Sounds like a pretty fascinating animal, right? Let's take a look at some of the information about this gigantic deer. Red deer are easy to identify due to their mostly uniform color, dark red-brown in the summer, turning to a grayish-brown in the winter. While the males are called stags, a female is called a hind. The most characteristic feature of a male is their impressive branched antlers and massive size. A male red stag can weigh up to 530 pounds. Today I'm going after red stag, and let me tell you what I'm going to be taking with me. I'm going to be using my Howa Model 1500 with a Riton 3x18 scope. I'll be glassing in the field with Riton binoculars. I'll be using Remington 300 Win Mag ammo, and because I always carry a pocket knife in the field because you never know what will happen, I have a Benchmade pocket knife. In some religious traditions, most notably religious cults, the stag is highly symbolic and is associated with a god called Cernunnos, the wild god of the forest. I'm not sure about all that, but I do know venison makes a fantastic burger.
Yeah, so he's in the middle now?
Yeah, he's just crossing the
No, not that one. Now he's on the left.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of crooked. Yep, he's got that crooked left, that crooked right horn.
He's the one looking at us.
Yep. Yep. Now he just turned.
Yeah. We found a group with some females, and there were about 3 males in the bunch too. And then we got out of the Polaris. We decided to stalk. We stalked them. The fog was just not in our favor, and we could see the silhouette, so I definitely was not going to take the shot. And they were on the move. Normally, a deer would be long gone if they saw 2 hunters standing in a field. Thankfully, we were far enough off with a distant bank of trees in between us. Also, with some luck, the fog helped us move toward the deer without having to adjust our approach.
I see him. He's facing us right now. He's looking right at us. He's got his head cocked this way now.
So as they were on the move, we were on the move, so we were trailing them. The sun started to come out and the stags became active. So this group of red stag with the 2 males and the 2 female, we were there was like a big pond in front of us, and there were these trees, and then there were these 2 big berms, right? So we are just probably 250 yards away from this group of red stag, and I am following him, and he is walking through the trees, obviously, and he's walking through this berm. And I know that if I can catch him in the right spot in between these 2 trees, if he gives me a great shot, I could probably take it. Okay, ready?
Around the shoulder. Slow squeeze. Slow squeeze. Nice shot.
Did I get him?
You hit him. You smoked him.
Oh my God! Yes!
Nice shot.
Oh my God.
All right, he's down.
Oh my God.
He's down. That was great. Good shot. Oh my goodness, he crumpled.
Thanks, Taylor.
All right, let's give him a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Okay. He's down. He didn't go a foot. He dropped him right in his tracks.
Oh my God.
That 300 smoked him. All right, let's give him a few minutes. Let's let him go. And we'll go over and we'll pick him up, right? If you want, we'll take a real slow walk over there.
Yeah.
All right, we've got about 120, 130 yards.
Okay.
All right, I know you wanted to get 100 yards, but I lied to you a little bit. We're about 130.
That's fine. I was more worried about the fog. Honestly.
As the fog starts to burn off, I love how we drop them, you know?
That's good.
All right.
That was my main concern, was the fog.
All right.
Oh my God.
Let's take a slow walk around to him.
So I just took down my first red stag. We had stalked him for a while. It was really foggy this morning, which I thought was totally gonna not work in our favor. We waited it out, we stalked a few, we stalked him for a little while, and sure enough, the sun came out, and I got a shot.
I'm more excited about how you're gonna prepare this dish, though.
Well, it's gonna be another delicious dish. I think you mean dish is.
Dish is.
This is the largest deer species there is, so I think we're gonna have plenty of meat for the rest of the year. I must say, Trekking out into that morning fog and seeing that herd of red stag and hinds walk across that field was one of the most spectacular visuals I've had while deer hunting. With all the history and the lore that surrounds this animal, I couldn't wait to get up to it and see him close up. Thank you, Taylor, for putting me on my first red stag.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed this hunt, and my guide Taylor did a great job of helping me get the stag on the ground. But even more importantly, he helped get my deer processed and its giant backstrap ready for the kitchen. Speaking of the kitchen, who's ready for a burger? I think just about anyone would be ready for a burger after a day like today, except maybe these guys. So before we can make our beautiful burgers, I'm going to actually grind my red stag meat. So I have here my back straps from my red stag. I've already taken all the silver skin off and cut them in about 1 to 2 inch cubes. We're gonna get them in the grinder, but first I'm going to add a little fat to it because these are so lean. I want my burgers to have a little bit of fattiness to them, so I'm adding my favorite fat to add to ground meats, which is a little bit of beef tallow. Lard would also work really well, or if you want to go all out, add duck fat. It's so amazing. I just forgot to bring the duck fat, so I'm using my trusty beef tallow. So this grinder is freaking awesome. It's gonna do all the work for us. We're just gonna go through one pass, meaning we don't have to grind it again. We're just gonna grind it one time. So let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on and pour in my meat. So easy. And that beef tallow is getting ground up with the meat. I don't have to do any of the work. Look at that, so beautiful. Homemade burgers are a lot easier to do than you think. And grinding your meat is so fun because you can play around with the different fats, the different ratios. They all end up with a different texture. Almost done. Look at that. Look at that red. Makes you wonder if that's why they call it a red stag. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, I'd say you can turn it off now. I'm just going to scrape off the last bits from the grinder. And now we have perfectly ground red stag meat to make our burgers. But first, before we get to the burger part, we are going to make a bacon jam. You heard me right, bacon jam.
Bacon jam.
It is so good. You might want to eat it by the spoonful, which, you know, I highly recommend. So let's get started on this bacon jam to go on top of our burger. I'm going to start off by dicing a red onion. I'm going to take the skin off. We don't need that. Oh, I like red onion for this dish. I'm using it because it's a little bit more potent and I want a little bit of that onion kick because when it cooks down, it kind of retains that onion punch versus yellow or white onions. It kind of gets cooked off. So I'm going to use my chef knife and I'm just going to give it a rough chop. It does not have to be perfect for this jam because it's going on our burger. And I'm just going to do rough chop again. It's going to eventually cook down. So really, I'm not too concerned about the size of the pieces, just as long as they're maybe like a 1/4 inch thick. That is a beautiful rough chop. So I'm going to get it into my pan. I kind of like when there's a slightly bigger onions pieces in there as well. It just gives it a good crunch. I like it just for a variety of texture. Now, doing it again. Rough chop, super easy. This jam is so easy and so delicious. So on my website, I have a recipe for bacon jam, which this recipe is. But I created this by mistake, actually. So I thought I was putting in, like a brown sugar mixture that I had mixed. It was a brown water, and I actually put coffee in there. It was my husband's coffee that was sitting on the table, and I didn't know it, and it turned out beautiful. So the secret ingredient is actually coffee in my bacon jam. So that's what we're going to use today. I'm going to get these onions going. There we go. We have fire. Gonna get that going. Now I'm not adding any additional fat to the pan because I'm gonna let the fat from the bacon render out and become our fat to cook it all in. So again, like our onions, I'm just gonna give this a rough chop. It's super easy. Nothing has to be perfect for this recipe. Use a very, very sharp knife when cutting warm bacon because that fat can get slippery and slimy, and it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but if you have a sharp knife, no worries. Rough chop, probably about a 1/2 inch pieces is what I'm doing. And cut that up. Technically, in culinary school, we would call these lardons. So it sounds much more fancier when I'm calling them bacon lardons are going in my bacon jam, right? That's the technical culinary term. Since I was trained in a French kitchen, that's what we would call them. So I'm gonna get these bacon lardons into my pan for my bacon jam. I'm gonna get those going. Give it a good stir. I'm gonna cook these until the onions are translucent and the bacon is pretty much fully cooked. I don't need it to get crispy or anything because I'm just gonna be introducing some liquids to it. So, which would eventually take away all the crispiness. So let's get that going. The fat is rendering beautifully. I hope y'all are saving all the bacon fat from whenever you bake, well, I actually bake bacon, or whenever you cook bacon, save that fat and cook with it instead of vegetable oil. It is so delicious. You can actually save the fat on many things, and it's delicious to cook with. Okay, we're gonna get that going. Now, I'm gonna season it with a little salt and pepper. Not too much salt because there is salt in that bacon because it is cured. Add a little pepper, season at every step. And then I'm gonna just give it a turn. We're gonna wait until those onions and that bacon starts to get a little bit crispy and the onions are translucent. Then I'm gonna be adding coffee and sugar and some spices. I wish I had smell-o-vision so you could smell this right now. It's so good. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna add a little bit of brown sugar right now just so I can help get those caramelizations going. The sugar is gonna bring a nice smoky molasses flavor. So brown sugar has molasses in it. That's why it's called brown sugar, which is that earthy, deep flavor that I want, and I want that in this bacon jam right now. Okay, so while that is cooking, I'm gonna start getting my flat top ready for my buns. So I'm gonna go ahead, or for my patties, excuse me. I'm gonna get this going. There we go. Just give it to medium heat. I'm going to add a little bit of fat to my flat top so that my buns and my patties don't stick. And because I believe at seasoning at every moment possible, and that includes what you're seasoning your pan with. So that is a good tip. Always remember to use every area you can in cooking to season, and that includes your pan. So whether you're putting in butter, like if you're gonna use olive oil or vegetable oil, just think of all the other flavorful elements you can use to season your pan. Duck fat, beef tallow, so many other things where you can introduce different flavors to your pan. So I'm just gonna spread that all over, get that going. Let's give the bacon a little twirl here. Ooh, it's looking beautiful. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little bit of more brown sugar right to the pan. After all, it is a jam. That's why, so it has a higher content of sugar in it because it's slightly sweet and slightly savory and so delicious. Then I'm going to add in my coffee. I'm adding about 1.5 cups to my pan, but essentially all this coffee is going to evaporate and I'm left with all the coffee flavor. So that is what I'm going for. So it may look soupy right now, but in a few minutes, it's gonna be perfection. Then, while I got the coffee in there, I'm going to add some ground cinnamon. I'm probably gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon to my jam, just like that. And for a little kick, because I love a spicy kick to my food, I'm gonna add a little bit of chili powder to it. Probably just 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon in there. There we go, beautiful. Then I'm gonna mix it again and then let it set and reduce and become so delicious. It's gonna be thick and almost caramel-like because of that brown sugar. So let's get that going. While that is going, I am going to make our patties. And nothing is perfect when you're at hunt camp, so I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm gonna squeeze the meat together so that it sticks and it binds. And we're gonna do about, I'd say those are about like 4-ounce patties. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Just gonna place them right here so I can get them on the grill. Another reason why I like beef tallow on my grill is because it has a higher smoking point than say a vegetable oil, which has a lower smoking point. And that is important. Your smoking point is really important because when you smoke an oil or a fat, it actually changes the chemical composition and you get a totally different taste, which is a burnt taste that you really don't want in your food. So say if I was to use olive oil, we would get a very bitter taste if it was on this high of heat. Okay, I'm gonna season my patties. So if you notice, when I ground the meat, I didn't season it. I didn't add salt and pepper into the mix. So here is my trick. We all love that salty crunch on the top, say, of a brisket when you've smoked it for hours. Well, I love that salty crunch on my burger patties too, and here is a kick-ass way to achieve that. I season my patties liberally with kosher salt. Like, I am really going at it, right? That salt is actually going to create a crust, and it's going to be so flavorful and amazing, but the meat can also stand up to it because it doesn't have salt in the patty. So that's always a good thing, that we don't over salt it, but this salt crust is going to be so good. So good. And we definitely need it because this is the back strap and it's very, very lean. Here we go. Ooh, the sound of awesomeness. And then I'll season the other side once the patties are on the grill. I'm gonna wipe my hand. So while those are cooking, my jam is cooking, I'm gonna slice some brie cheese. Yes, I am topping my burger with brie cheese. I actually really love the creaminess of brie cheese. It provides that ooey gooey cheesiness that we all love, but with a different flavor of cheese, and it's so magical. Just trust me on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this one in half. Then I'm gonna make slices, just like that, so that I can just simply slice on top of my bread, place them on top of my burger, and the heat of the burger is gonna make them melt just so perfectly. Oh, brie cheese is amazing. You gotta keep stirring your bacon jam. Don't like go away and let it sit because you don't wanna burn all the sugar in there. But oh my, this is looking beautiful. Okay, now look at those patties. We're gonna season liberally all over with kosher salt and black pepper on this side. So because this meat is so lean, you could actually have a medium rare burger, which would be perfection. I like my meat burgers around medium rare as well. We're using the back strap, so we don't have a lot of fat in it. So I like to say, yeah, a good medium rare plus is how I would like to cook these burgers. These ones are gonna be a little bit more rarer. I have them on a different area, I can tell because of the sides. These ones are gonna be a little bit more cooked, you know, for the crew that likes it well done. So when your burgers start releasing juices, when you press them down, they're almost ready and finished. So I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, buddy. We're golden. I'm gonna start removing my patties and we're gonna start building our burgers. So I have brioche buns, and I am a huge mayo fan on burgers, so I like to put a little bit of mayo on here because the patty is so hot and warm that it's going to melt the mayonnaise and create a little bit of a sauce, which I just love. So we're gonna put it on top and bottom. Just a little bit, you don't need a lot. There we go. Now, I'm going to put a patty down. Then, while our burger patty is still hot, I'm going to add slices of our brie cheese right on top. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Then, to make sure the brie cheese is extra melty, I am going to top the brie cheese off with a little bit of bacon jam. Ooey gooey goodness right here. Oh. Okay, perfect. Oop. Don't escape, little bacon. You're going back on that burger. Then I'm gonna put a little bit of arugula on top for a little bit of crunch and greenery. Because you know, when you add greenery, it's practically health food, right? It's virtually a salad, y'all. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, just like that. Then we're going to top it with our brioche bun. And oh my goodness, a Red Stag burger from a Red Stag that I hunted this morning. This is the essence of wilderness to table, and it's never tasted so good. Next time on Wilderness to Table. Today I am going after ram.
Good shot. All right, hold on, let's watch. Hey.
Yeah. Ram is not the typical animal that you really think of when it comes to the culinary world, and that is precisely why I am up for this challenge. I'm going to gently break it up. So I'm just going to help break them up so they'll cook a little bit faster. A beautiful dish made with ram meat. Ram down. Welcome to Let's Talk About It, where tacos are my jam, and today I'm going to rock you with my rockin' Moroccan tacos, made with Red Stag meat that I just happened to harvest today because I'm that badass. But let's make a taco because it's gonna be even more badass. To get started, we're going to use our pan. We're gonna get our pan heated up on about medium-high heat. Yeah! We're gonna add a little olive oil to our pan. just like that. Then I'm gonna add my ground red stag meat to my pan. I'm gonna season with salt and pepper because if you know me, I always say season it every chance you can get. Oh, some black pepper going down. Then we're gonna break this up. So my pan needs to get a little hot. It's getting there. We're gonna break it up. We're gonna add a little bit of garlic to it. Probably about a tablespoon of minced garlic to my pan. Ooh yeah. You hear that sound? We're rocking now. We're rocking, right? Put that back. Give this a whirl. We're gonna cook that meat through. Then, we can't just season it with boring salt and pepper because why? It wouldn't be Moroccan. So, we're going to use Ras El Hanout. If I didn't say it right, just forgive me, okay? My mom's from Mexican. I'm not Moroccan. But anyways, but the spice is very delicious. So, I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of this spice mixture. Ooh, smells good. Smells like a little bit of curry, a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of warmth. I'm going to add, y'all know me, I like to spice things up. I'm adding a little bit of chili powder because, why? Because I can and I want to. And it's delicious. So I add about a quarter tablespoon of chili pepper. I'm going to add a dash of cinnamon because Moroccan food does have a lot of cinnamon in it. Then I'm just gonna give that a good mix. Mix all those spices into the meat. Should come together fairly quickly. Okay, we got that all mixed in. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna add, I'm feeling a little spicy today. I'm gonna add just a little bit more, okay? They really want those Moroccan flavors to come out. Okay, we got that. Gonna mix it in really quick, one more time. Okay, now we're gonna focus on what's going on top of our taco. It's all about the garnishes. We're gonna use some red pepper. Okay, we're just gonna simply do small julienne slices. Juliennes means 1/4 inch slices, okay? I had to do that a lot in culinary school, and I still do it a lot. So nothing's really changed. Got those beautiful slices. We don't want the ribs. Put that over there. Slice our bell peppers. I can put the rest here. We're gonna also top it off with some green onions. Don't need that part. Chop these really quick. It's all about the toppings on this one. It's all about the layers of flavor that's going to happen. Okay, put that back. You know me, I like my spice, so I'm gonna do some jalapeno. If you don't like raw jalapenos, then you can use pickled jalapenos. But don't be a baby, put the jalapenos on your damn taco, okay? It's delicious. I'm gonna slice them really thin so you don't cry too much, okay? But it adds a beautiful kick to this taco. So do y'all know about jalapenos? You see the inside of a jalapeno? The most spicy part of a jalapeno is the seeds and the ribs. So if you are a freakazoid and don't like jalapenos or heat, but you still want the taste, just cut out the seeds and the ribs, which is the white part, and you're good to go. So now I'm going to slice some red onions to go on top. We don't need this part. We're gonna take the skin off. We don't need that part. We're gonna eat them raw. If you don't like onions, don't put them on. But I like onions, so I'm putting them on. Let's do it. Slice thin little slices, about 1/8 of an inch thick, because they're going on top and it's a garnish. We're not cooking them down. That's about all we need. Put those over there. Get rid of that. I'm gonna turn this on low. I'm gonna get some olive oil on my grill going. Gonna heat up my tortillas and then we're gonna finish this taco. I'm just your little Moroccan taco cart right here. I'm gonna charge my crew $15 a taco. And they're gonna love it. I'm gonna turn this off the heat, put that right there, let that set. I have some nice caramelized crunchy pieces in there. Oh, it's so good. Then my tortillas have started to bubble a little bit. Woo, look at that. That's exactly what you want. We're gonna flip it over. Then I'm gonna take a plate. We're gonna plate these bad boys. If you take anything away from this taco demonstration, don't touch your eyes after slicing and touching jalapenos, but you will want to stuff your face with these rockin' Moroccan tacos.